Structure of cell. The smallest living unit in the human body is the cell. The animal cell and the human cell are quite different from the plant cell. The cell, that is the basic living unit, comprises of various parts which help in the proper functioning and the various processes which are carried out inside the cell. The unicellular organisms are the organisms which are made up of only one cell, like Euglena, Paramecium, yeast. The multicellular organisms, on the other hand, are made up of more than one cell, like the humans, animals, fungus, plants. Chloroplast is the main difference between the plant cell and the animal cell. The animal cell cannot manufacture its own food, but the plant cells, due to the presence of chloroplast, can manufacture its own food in the presence of sunlight. These are the basic differences between a plant cell and an animal cell. The plant cell is large, but the animal cell is small. The plant cell have cell wall surrounding, but the animal cell is without the cell wall. In plant cell, the vacuoles are of larger size, but in animal cell, the vacuoles are smaller. A plant cell has chloroplast, but the animal cells lack chloroplast. Cell, that is the smallest living unit in the body. It is about 0.1 micrometer to several centimeters. It may even range up to 1 meters in case of nerve cell in the human body. Cells combine, that is the cells of similar structure combine to form tissues, and tissues, that is two or more tissues combine to form organs. Organs further combine to form organ system. The smallest subdivision which carries out life processes is the cell. That is the smallest functional unit. The living unit inside the human body is the cell. Cell in itself has various processes which occur inside the cell, like the oxygen intake and the carbon dioxide release, which is called respiration. There is food intake, then the cell movement, the protein synthesis, and the energy release. All these processes help in the proper functioning of the cell. The human cell has various rod-like and tube-like membranes and the structures which are filled with cytoplasm, that is the cell fluid. The basic structure of a cell involves mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, centrioles, microtubules, cytoplasm, ribosome, cell, that is a plasma membrane, smooth ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum, rough ER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi vesicles, the Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, and the pinocytic vesicles. Inside the cell or the plasma membrane lies the entire fluid which is filled with the various parts. Plasma membrane is the semi-permeable outermost membrane which is made up of carbohydrate, lipid, and the protein molecules. Its thickness is about 75 to 110 angstrom. Its main function is to protect the structure of the cell. It also regulates the entry and the exit of various ions like Cl-, Na+, H+, OH-, and many others. They are allowed to enter in the cell or exit from the cell according to the selective action of this plasma membrane, that is the outermost membrane inside which the all other parts are secured. This phospholipid layer has such a structure in which in between there are certain carbohydrate chains. There are certain carbohydrate chains which are also linked with the receptor molecules through which the entire cell can communicate with the outside environment, that is the inside of the body, with various organs and with various other cells. It is a kind of phospholipid bilayer. This is a phospholipid bilayer structure, and in between there are certain protein molecules which link these lipid layers, that is the layers made of carbohydrates, are linked together with the help of these proteins. Then the Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus act like various membranous like structures which are present in the form of sacs. Their main function is to pack the material which is synthesized by the cell. This material is then transported inside the cell and outside the cell as and when needed. It also forms plasma membrane and lysosomes. These are the Golgi bodies. So these Golgi bodies have the outgoing transport vesicles, similarly newly forming vesicles through which they transport the material outside the cell. Vesicle contain the material produced outside the cell. These Golgi bodies, they are also linked with the they are mainly inside this plasma membrane, and then they are linked to the various other parts like the endoplasmic reticulum and others. These Golgi bodies are responsible for the production of the vesicles, and the other materials which are synthesized within the cell are transported inside the cell and also outside the cell. They act as the transport centers. Then ribosome. Ribosome, the main function is to synthesize the proteins. In this, they are present in the cytoplasm or in endoplasmic reticulum. They are composed of ribosomal RNA, ribonucleic acid. Lysosomes are the small spherical membranes which are used in the digestion of various large molecules. They also protect the cell from bacteria and virus. Then the liquid, the living material which is present around the nucleus is called cytoplasm. It is the jelly-like material and the liquid portion which is also called cytosol. It contains various proteins, carbohydrates, nucleic acids and lipids. So the cell membrane, that is the surrounding part, and then the nucleus in between, and the cytoplasm, that is the cell fluid which is present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Then the nucleus, that is the innermost part and the central part. This part is a spherical part of diameter 10 to 25 micrometer, and it is present near the center of the cell. It has a nuclear membrane as is cell membrane, similar is the nuclear membrane. Then it also has nucleoplasm, that is the fluid. That fluid contains nucleolus and chromatin fibers. It has a genetic material called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA synthesis also occurs here. Various cells may have multinucleus, but generally the cells have one nucleus. The membrane has nuclear pores. The inside is the nucleolus and the chromatin fibers, and the fluid filling in between is called nucleoplasm. So within the cell there is a nucleus, and that nucleus contains a part called nucleolus, in which the granular components and the fibrillar components are present, which are responsible for RNA processing. Then ER, endoplasmic reticulum. It is the interconnection of various tube-like structures, and its parts are connected to nuclear membrane and the cell membrane. Smooth ER or endoplasmic reticulum are those which have no ribosomes, but rough ER have ribosomes. ER are also responsible for the synthesis of proteins and lipids. They store the calcium ions, and they give the support to the cell fluid, the cytoplasm. This is the structure of endoplasmic reticulum, which comprises of ribosomes, rough ER and smooth ER. Then the vacuoles. Vacuoles are the membranous sac-like structures which are filled with liquids or ions. Their main function is to store the waste products which are produced inside the cell. Their important function is to maintain the osmotic pressure, that is the desirable pressure within the cell. Then mitochondria. Mitochondria is also called powerhouse or power plant of the cell. It is a bilayer protein membrane, and it extracts energy from various nutrients. The energy which is released is used to produce ATP molecules. ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate molecules, through which energy is provided to the cell for its various activities. Mitochondria, the main structure, consists of two membranes. One is the outer membrane and the other is the inner membrane. After the inner membrane lies a matrix structure which is called cristae, and it is a kind of filled matrix. This matrix is filled with ribosomes and the DNA. So this is the outer membrane. Then the matrix like structure whose outer part is called cristae, and the matrix itself is filled with ribosomes and DNA.